I just say a couple of things first. To be introduced by Lise Doucette is something very special. She is one of the world's great foreign correspondents, and she's Canadian to boot. And to listen to her on the BBC from some of the hotspots of the world is very special for all of us in this country and all the countries that listen to her. Lise Doucette is special, and I'm proud to be standing here after having been introduced by her. It was great to see Tom Clark tonight. I'd actually been wondering whatever happened to him. Well, less than a month to go now until I step away from my job. Where's the time gone? Almost 50 years in journalism since the day I was first hired, and another 10 years since Trump was elected. It's definitely time to move on. I've been in front of the camera for much of my life and for all of my hair. It's time for some new discoveries, like what do people do at night? I've always wondered about that. I'm also looking forward to exploring my creative side. I've got plenty of irons in the fire. I'm thinking of starting up a pottery studio with Lloyd Robertson. We're going to call it, and that's the kind of clay it's been. Lloyd's here tonight, by the way. He's Lloyd's at table 1003, and that's where I'll be sitting next year with him. Listen, it's a pleasure to be here with you to recognize and celebrate one of the best in our profession. Many of us in this room know the unique challenges of a live interview, especially one that's likely to be combative in nature. For journalists in the United States, the degree of difficulty has increased even further in the era of alternate facts and outright lies. More and more these days, it feels as though we live in a divided world. But those of us in this room, I'm willing to bet, well, we all have one thing in common. We all want to be Jake Tapper. We all want to be that quick, that funny, and that knowledgeable. We all want to have his ability to speak truth to power with such courage and such eloquence. And we all want to have his classic anchorman hair. Well, at least for another 2 weeks. Our CJF jury has chosen wisely this year. Tonight we honor a dedicated, unstoppable journalist of the highest integrity, who gets to the truth on behalf of his audience and his country. Please watch this.
Jake and I got to CNN at about the same time. He was coming on with a new show, and I was coming on as a contributor.
Man, it's still got that new set smell. I'm Jake Tapper, and this is The Lead. We do not know whether there were explosives.
What we wanted to do with Jake was bring reporting to CNN in the anchor chair. He's a fantastic reporter who had never really, in any serious daily way, anchored yet.
From the minute that he got there, you could tell this guy was special.
I'm sorry, you're not answering the question, which is, were you aware that the transition team had put in for a security clearance?
He's absolutely refusing to put up with nonsense, not because he wants Republicans to win or the Democrats to win. He wants the truth to win.
Truth is always important for journalists. It is particularly important for journalists when you have a president and an administration who are actively promoting mistruths.
Since those tweets 9 days ago, this charge by the president has been called false by the director of the FBI, false by the former director of national intelligence.
Nobody has held this administration and this government and this president more to account than Jake Tapper.
It's gotten to a point where it's not even being reported.
I want to put up some footage of CNN reporters covering the attacks on that list.
I'll never forget when he went toe-to-toe with Kellyanne Conway.
Kellyanne, CNN and other media organizations cover terrorism around the world all the time. Saying that we don't cover terrorism, that's just false.
All of a sudden, I'm listening to something, and I can't follow my producer, and all of a sudden she can't follow, and then the whole room just stops.
That's a lovely spin, but that's not what he was saying, Kellyanne. He was saying the media does not cover these stories because we don't want to cover them because we have some sort of agenda. That's what he was suggesting, and it's offensive given the fact that CNN and other media organizations have reporters in danger right now in war zones covering ISIS.
Great as CNN is, it doesn't stop the work at CNN. That interview stopped the work at CNN. CNN stopped to watch CNN when Jake went toe-to-toe with Kellyanne Conway. It was that good.
Facts are stubborn things. And to say that we're not reporting something that happens not to be true, therefore we're not to be trusted, that's a problem.
CNN actually leaves them up in the 2 boxes for almost the whole interview. You know that Kellyanne Conway is saying just like total BS to his face, and there's nothing. He just takes it, and then he pushes back. It doesn't give anyone any clue about what he's thinking or where he's leaning, right? It speaks to his neutrality and objectivity.
And how do you prepare for an interview like that? You prepare 20 years ago. You prepare 10 years ago. You prepare 5 years ago. What you're seeing is the outcome of a lifetime commitment to excellence.
This week, Donald Trump rounded up a bunch of us to tell us how much he hates us. It's this week's State of the Cartoonia.
Luckily for us, he didn't become a cartoonist, because the fact is he's an incredibly skilled cartoonist.
There's a concision and precision that's required to capture the whole story, all the irony, and the main point in one frame. When you're dealing with somebody like that interviewing you, you're not going to be able to escape. He's got 4 corners around you.
If you are saying he can't do his job because of his race, is that not the definition of racism?
I don't think so at all.
No?
No, he's proud of his heritage.
He inspires you to call people out more. It inspires you to be right, to make sure that you're really doing your homework so that you know that when you do that, you've got it.
When you're that smart, when you got that much integrity and you care that much, you are going to become a legend. And when he walked in the first day, you could see it.
Jake's been an incredible colleague, a great friend, and most importantly, a great person.
He's becoming something that people are going to talk about in 20 years, but we get to work with him today, and it's amazing.
Jake makes all of us better every single day, and not in an annoying way. He makes us better just by example. He leads. He leads our coverage. He sets a high bar for himself, and it's a bar that all of us want to meet as well. I remember being on set with him one night, and he was doodling on a piece of paper, and I looked down and I discovered he's actually a great cartoonist as well. I was like, is there anything Jake Tapper cannot do? He even likes comic books. I used to be the only on-air nerd at CNN who read comic books. Do you know what a relief it is to have someone I can talk to about Batman? Will Blitzer knows nothing about Batman. I've tried. He doesn't know. We are in a difficult time in our nation's history, and the mission of reporters is as important as it's ever been, certainly in my career. And when I personally want to see a politician being held accountable, when I want to hear from someone I trust, someone who's honest and fair, Jake, I turn to you. I feel so lucky to be at CNN with you at this time in our history. So thank you, and congratulations on this incredibly well-deserved tribute from the Canadian Journalism Foundation.